Perfect. All right. Well, let me run through here. First of all, thanks for having me. I'm excited to be here to chat with everybody. My name is Cody Dumont. I'm managing director here at Eli Electric Vehicles. We're here to discuss the future of neighborhood electric vehicles, or NEVs, and the vital role we think Eli will play in shaping that future. As cities around the world continue to grow and evolve, the need for efficient, sustainable, and accessible transportation has never been greater. Traditional vehicles have long been the dominant mode of transportation in urban areas, but their negative impact on the environment, as well as their contribution to air pollution, can't be ignored. In response to these challenges, we've developed a new generation of electric vehicle, the Eli ZERO. At a fraction of the size and cost of traditional cars, the Eli ZERO is nimble, more maneuverable, affordable, and accessible, making us the perfect solution for navigating the narrow streets and urban landscapes of tomorrow. I'm sure most of you are familiar with travel patterns here in the US and know that around 75% of our trips are under 10 miles. Because these short trips are the most frequent, we believe they are also the most important segment in personal mobility. By providing a solution for these shorter, more frequent trips, we're giving ourselves the most opportunity for growth. The cars we have on the road today are over-designed and over-engineered for these shorter trips. We need a new option that can comfortably carry two people with plenty of room for bags and groceries, and it needs to be fully enclosed as to not be restricted by seasonality or weather conditions. Here at Eli, we believe we've developed the perfect solution. Mashable called us the iPad of cars, and I think that's a pretty accurate description. Simple yet advanced, we're here to fill the gap between e-bikes and electric scooters and the gas-guzzling SUVs that dominate our streets and neighborhoods. The Eli ZERO is also absurdly fun to drive. I often tell people we take the worst part of your day and make it the best part of your day. Nobody enjoys their commute. Rather than to show up to your appointment cold and tired because you're unprotected from the elements, or angry and frustrated after sitting in traffic and circling the block to find a place to park, you show up ready and refreshed, smiling ear to ear with a huge Eli grin on your face. We also like to think of ourselves as personal mobility reimagined. To appeal to the mass market, the driving experience and form factor need to be familiar and convenient. Our first micro EV, the Eli ZERO, is designed to take on these challenges. It has the stability and safety of four wheels, ample room for two plus trunk space, full climate control, all packaged into a size that's 70% smaller than a sedan. Our vehicle is built on an advanced micro EV platform tailored to be compact and energy efficient. For each dollar you spend on electricity, you get around 60 miles of range out of an Eli ZERO. This compares to about 25 miles of range on a conventional EV, making us more than twice as efficient. We also bring automotive features to the NEV space like power brakes, power steering, keyless entry, and passive start. All of these options come standard. Our advanced platform also allows future feature expansions and possibility for fast iterations into new vehicle models and variants. A big part of our story is our extreme capital efficiency. As a seed stage startup, we were able to develop the Eli ZERO, our micro EV platform, from the ground up and went into production with less than $10 million raised. We achieved this record-breaking capital efficiency through deep supply chain knowledge and cross-industry understanding of production techniques. By raising capital through our grassroots equity crowdfunding campaign, we are also supported by thousands of individual investors that believe in our vision. Besides capital efficiency, by design, we are obsessed with prepping for scalability. By working closely with two contract manufacturers, we have a total production capacity of over 15,000 vehicles for 2023. Both contract manufacturers have successfully built and shipped Eli ZEROs. We also designed our vehicle material and structure around making our production process asset light and reducing complexity for assembly. We streamlined our supply chain model by closely collaborating with our upstream suppliers. This has effectively reduced the need for a press line, a welding shop, a paint shop requiring only final assembly. This way, we are OEM agnostic and can easily multiply our production capacity by developing new contract manufacturers. Even as a seed stage startup deploying very little working capital, we are already selling and shipping production vehicles to the European market, as well as French Polynesia, through our network of international dealers. The feedback we received has been overwhelmingly positive, and the sales and growth we've seen in the global market continues to validate the fact that micro EVs can truly replace larger cars in short distance commutes. In conclusion, I truly believe NEVs are the future, and Eli Electric Vehicles will play a vital role in shaping our future urban landscape. With our low environmental impact, affordable price tag, and ability to reduce traffic congestion, we're the clear choice for cities looking to improve mobility and sustainability. Through our grassroots nature of raising capital, we are supported by thousands of individual retail investors that believe in our vision. If you're interested in joining us on our journey and becoming an investor at Eli, I invite you to visit our new round of funding by visiting invest.eli.world or emailing us at ir@eli.world. Thank you.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Cody. Yeah, it's been, I've really enjoyed following your story. I think there's such a, it's like there's so much chutzpah in being able to build an entire vehicle manufacturing company and like get vehicles shipped for less than $10 million. I don't know, like I have not yet found any other company that's managed to do that. So hats off to you. I've got a couple of questions that are coming through in the chat, and folks, if you do have any more questions coming through, obviously go check out eli.world if you want to see pictures of this. Unfortunately, we couldn't make the presentation work, but it's obviously it would be great to have your thoughts or questions around this. I guess the question that I have for you is, you've chosen to go with a kind of a dealer network in the US and in Europe. How is that kind of navigation been? Because I think one of the things that, you know, when we look at the EV space, Tesla has been very famous for not going with dealers. I'm curious, you know, how that journey's been for you. What are the trade-offs in making a choice like that?
Sure. Yeah, great question. So yes, we've been going through dealers and international distributors for the international market. And there are pros and cons with this. They have an excellent network of stores and outlets and the ability to touch the customer. They have all the service and everything in place. And you know, they've been great partners to us. But for this US market, which the Eli ZERO is truly designed for the US market, we are going to be going direct, and we are going to own the piece. We're going to own the customer experience. We're going to own the service, and we're going to really follow this model that Tesla and Rivian's created. I think that's where you truly provide the entire ecosystem to the customer and just much more value. So our plan for the US market, which we think is in its infancy, like when you're thinking about when you want to invest in a product, you know, the time to invest in Tesla was probably 5 years. Well, that's where NEVs are today, where the automobile market was, you know, 5 or 10 years ago. And I think that's the type of growth we could see. So here in the US, we plan to go direct. We plan to really take ownership of this market. And yeah, we're excited about the opportunity for growth.
Awesome. And where are you launching in the US first? Are you going for like particular geographies?
That's a great question. And that's one I think we're still figuring out. We are going to stay geographically tight, right? Because we want to make sure that we don't bite off more than we can chew. In order to service these vehicles, to keep our first customers very happy, right? We feel like we need to be close. And so today we're still determining what the right market is. But my guess is it's probably going to be like more than likely a Southern California market. That's where we're headquartered today.
Yep. Excellent. And in that process of doing that, is it when you bring them into a community, or into like Southern California, for example, are you going and targeting particular areas? Because I mean, the vehicles themselves will be road legal, I assume. But we've seen the real success of these in like dedicated living communities or retirement communities, and in the kind of things like golf carts. This this is sort of sits between a golf cart and a real car. How are you thinking about that in terms of positioning? Where do you think that they're most likely to be used?
Yeah, so we think there's really an opportunity to disrupt this golf cart market, right? And although we think this can be mainstream, we really want to build out our US kind of marketing and service and customer service muscle and know-how. And like I said, this is going to be a pilot for us likely in 2023. So yeah, I think that it's going to be important for us that that we keep things tight. We're close to the customer, and yeah. Sorry, I think that answered your question.
Yeah, no, totally. All right, well, folks, are there any other questions that folks have in the chat about this? I had asked before when you were off. We were trying to sort this out about what people were interested in learning about. There is a question here in particular interested about the application of fast charging. So are the vehicles fast charging? How big are the batteries?
Yeah, so the batteries are 8 kilowatt hours, and they are extremely fast charging, right? You can get almost 80% of your charge in just a couple hours, and a full charge only takes 4 hours.
Right, excellent. And it's just on a standard plug, not going to a fast charge like a
no, that's just on 110, right? Those numbers will improve if you wired via 220, right? So just on the 110, those are the numbers you get.
Excellent. Marvelous. And then we have a question here. Why did you decide to go for the 45 km/h limitation and not faster as the Twizy did or the Renault Twizy did, for example? Does it make people hesitate?
Sure. Yes, so that's a great question. I think we're capable of faster speeds. And in fact, in some of the markets we're in that allow faster speeds, we've dialed the Eli ZERO up to do that. But the US market today, this LSV market, is regulated at a top speed of 25 miles an hour. So that's why we chose to regulate the top speed there as well.
Yep. And what's the licensing, the requirements for licensing for low speed electric vehicles? Just out of curiosity for the US?
Yeah, so the requirement for licensing, it's different state by state, right? The requirement, but what it really allows you to do in most states here in the US is drive on any street with a posted speed limit up to 35 miles an hour or less. And then again, the LSV has to have a top speed of 25 miles an hour. Other than that, it's very similar regulations to an automobile, in that you have to have blinkers, headlights, seat belts, etc. So all of the kind of safety features you would expect.
Excellent. I've got two questions here. One about EU. So are the vehicles homologated for the EU? And then how does it compare to the Citroen Ami in terms of pricing?
Sure. So yes, they are fully homologated for the EU. We're currently selling in Italy, the Netherlands, a few other countries, and yes, fully homologated. And I'm sorry, Oliver, what was the second half?
Oh, the second one was, how does it compare to the Citroen Ami in terms of pricing?
Yep. So we are going to be priced here in the US right around $15,000, probably just under, right? So we are much, much cheaper. And so that's another consideration when you're thinking about, comparing us to automobiles. We're a very affordable solution, and I think more of a realistic solution for the way people use their vehicles these days.
Fantastic. Well, Cody, thank you so much. I'm so sorry we couldn't make the presentation work, but thank you everybody else for joining. I really appreciated. Oh, right. We have. Can we have your webpage address and email? It's eli.world, eli.world. And Cody, what's your email?
Yeah, so I'm Cody at eli.world. And if you want to learn more about investing in our equity crowdfunding campaign, you can find that at invest.eli.world.